of Oona. You should talk about that. So Mike began sharing stories of his darkest and funniest thoughts about the decision to have a child. Over the next couple years, these stories evolved into a Broadway show, and the more Mike performed it, the more he heard how it resonated, not just with parents, but also people who resist all kinds of change. The new one is the compilation of those stories, both laugh out loud funny and utterly universal. Moderating tonight will be Michael Ian Black, who many people may know as an actor, comedian, and writer who started his career with the sketch comedy show The State on MTV, and he has created and starred in many other television shows. That said, without further ado, Mike, and Jen, it's all yours.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I feel like you built Michael Ian Black up way too much.
I was going to say the opposite, that maybe it was a little under built up, but then I thought maybe it was because he wanted you guys to shine. And so I thought, you know what, I appreciate it. I appreciate that. Because
I was, all I could think when he's talking was which movies, which TV shows.
Right. And I can answer that. There's a movie coming out called First One In, and I'm in almost 45 seconds of that movie.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it for a second.
Almost 45 seconds.
You know what, Michael? I love the 80s also, and I love the 90s.
How do you feel about the 70s? Because I can tell you how I feel about them. I love
Did you do that one too?
We did that one.
Mike, by the way, just to give you a little background, Washington, D.C., hello. I used to live there for a long time. It's good to see you folks. I went to Georgetown. I worked at the Washington, D.C. Improv Comedy Club for years. And Michael and I, when we're making fun of each other, are friends and talk to each other on the phone and make fun of each other on the phone. Like, don't be like alarmed that like, wait a minute, this is going very badly. They hate each other.
No. I'm a big fan of yours and have always been. And I have become a fan of Jen's poetry, reading the new one.
Thanks so much.
Well, because it's, you know why? Because it's super honest and beautiful and also really raw and tender. And I thought, I didn't know your work before this. I think it's just great.
Thank you.
I'm really excited. We're really excited for your book that comes out in a month.
Don't even talk about my book. Who cares? Who cares about my book, A Better Man, that comes out September 15th? I'll also be doing an event of Politics and Prose. This isn't about me. This is your night.
Classic Washington, D.C. behavior. This is self-dealing. This is why people don't like Washington, Michael. It's the swamp. You're the literary swamp.
I'm the deep state on MTV.
You're the deep state on MTV is such an inside joke.
But Sean set it up. He said I started my
on the state
on MTV.
All right. Yeah, I guess you're right. The deep state would be the sequel sketch comedy series to the state.
Or just all the skits that didn't make it to air, or the deep state.
I could think of some members of the state who have a lot of time on their hands who could make that series.
I want to hear something from your book.
Well, let's do that. So just to build on what was said already, the book is this collaboration my beloved wife and I stumbled into when we had our child, because I had always my whole life never wanted to have a child, and then we had a child. And then I thought along the way, I started writing these things down privately. And at a certain point, Jen started sharing with me some of her poems, and I started to share with her some of my private writings. And when we thought this could be a show, this could be a book, and so the book is very raw. Although, Michael, I haven't told you this, but it's like a funny thing is, for the most part, people's user reviews are so nice of the book, but the people who don't like the book, it's a very funny thing. They go like,
"Wait, Michael, you just cut out on whatever hilarious thing you just said."
Oh, okay.
User reviews are like, and then you said something hilarious, but I didn't hear it.
I said sometimes, occasionally, a criticism of the book, if people don't like it, is they'll go too much information, and I always say, no, it's the exact right amount of information.
Yeah, I mean, I could have. I didn't feel like it was too much. I could have used more. I mean, because it's. I just enjoy. I enjoyed the show that I saw. I enjoyed the book that I read, and I enjoy just you guys together.
So what we devised to make this interactive with our friends in DC, and actually in the comments, tell us, right, DC or not DC. Comments.
Someone says the sound
Oh,
is
sound's
cutting
cutting
up.
out. You're breaking up again.
Is it breaking up for everybody? You guys all
It is
having
for me,
issues
so I
with
imagine
that?
it is for those guys too. And so it's not on my end, but you do get a little garbly, and I'm wondering if maybe you're a little drunk.
Ooh,
Good question.
That's what it could be. It could be that. Well, my question was, for the group is, are people from DC or are they from out of town? For the comments, if people could chime into the comments. Brooklyn.
DC,
all right.
Wichita.
All right.
There's Kansas, Maryland, Wichita, to Kansas.
New York. See if we know them.
Georgetown
grad 2015. That's nice.
DC, not a swamp.
Well, it literally,
DC.
it literally is a swamp.
Jokes, just jokes. Jokes, Liz. Go Hoyas. Some strong Georgetown representation. So we were gonna do a format which we call Choose Your Joke Adventure or Choose Your Poem Adventure, where we give you an option of two different joke poem couplets, and you write in the comments which one you want to watch, so you want to hear. So I'll give you an example. Jen will hold them up.
So you got to vote here. We're going to exercise our right to vote for who did or introvert versus extrovert.
So write in the comments who did.
You get to vote for either who did or introvert, extrovert. Who did? I love that everyone uses the question mark.
Getting a lot of who dids. A lot of who dids.
Who did?
I like who did.
Do
I
you
like
get-
who did a lot. Back and pick up the line again. Michael, is that good with you?
You were breaking up again.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't hear, all I heard was, Michael, is that good with you? But my ears are trained to only hear my name.
Okay.
If everyone can hear Michael, he might just have to read the book.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
us.
Exactly. Let's try who did.
Can't hear you.
I think you're back now. You seem okay now.
Okay.
Okay.
We're going to go for it. Let us know how bad, if it gets bad.
This is from a chapter called I Love My Marriage. When Jen and I first met, our work schedules didn't match. Jen worked 9 to 6 in an office building overlooking the Hudson. I was on the road 70% at night, so I, stay with me, showed up at her job every day without an invitation. In current times, this would be called stalking. At the time, it was called stalking. I wouldn't recommend this tactic unless you're completely willing to go to jail or get married. So I would show up at Jen's work every day with flowers and pop into the conference room or her office. Jen would be mortified. She'd whisk me out to Pier 60 and we would make out on the promenade. The first time this happened, Jen's phone dropped out of her pocket mid-kiss.
First time my husband kissed me, my cell phone fell out of my pocket into the Hudson River, and to this day, I still receive prank calls from fish.
Which is all to say, I love my marriage. And I'm not saying it's perfect. I think all marriages, Michael can attest to this, have an undercurrent of tension at all times. because you have two people experiencing the exact same thing at the same time and two completely different memories of that same event.
Can I stop you and talk about what happened this morning, or do you want to talk about that later?
Oh yeah, we can do that.
Talking about tension that happened this morning.
This is going to be about this.
This morning I decided to cut Mike's hair. And so I was really cocky about it. I don't know how to cut hair, but I just like had it in my mind. I woke up at 5 a.m. like really pumped to do this. And I cut his hair and I just started cutting. And I just like sliced his ear. And now it's all like bandaged up. It was pretty bad. It was like gushing blood.
That was going to be my question. How much does an ear bleed when you cut it?
A lot more than I realized. Like I was just like putting pressure on it. It was just like bleeding. I was like thinking it was going to need stitches, but it's pretty good now. It's got a frozen Band-Aid on it. But there was some tension this morning about that.
If you cut someone's hair and miss the hair, do I not bleed? That's Shakespeare. Shakespeare.
Sorry, keep going. I just
anyway,
that's the tension of the day. Is when
was there actual tension? Were you legitimately mad, or was it just like Jen was just super apologetic?
I think he was pissed. I think like part of him felt like, I don't know.
I don't think I was pissed.
You seem pissed. Maybe you're just in pain.
I think I was neutral. Okay. I think I was like, what the fuck? Like what else is gonna go wrong? Where is this all going?
Was that the worst part of the day?
There were some other mishaps.
I think
they were like,
I think the worst part of the day was that when I received legal papers saying that they were going to prosecute me for a fundraiser that I had for a wall on the southern border of America. I was very upset about that.
I can imagine.
Yeah. Which is all to say I love my marriage. And I'm not saying it's perfect. I think all marriages have an undercurrent of tension at all times because you have two people experiencing the same events at the same time and have very different memories of the same event. A few years ago, we were in a hotel elevator in Chicago, and I remembered on the lobby level, we had stayed there before, so I remembered on the lobby level, there's a cafe that Jen had loved. And on the elevator, I go, oh, you love the cafe in this hotel. And Jen said, who did? The subtext of who did was A, that didn't happen. B, that must have been someone else. C, I'm not happy about this. We get to the lobby and the elevator's doors open and Jen says, oh my God, I love this cafe. And I thought, I nearly died in the elevator. I almost had a heart attack 2 minutes ago and you just casually remembered I'm right. So now whenever we have a shared memory that isn't exactly the same, one of us says the phrase, who did? Which is our way of saying we're both probably wrong. That's who did.
There it is. Did you guys hear most of that? Yeah. Okay, cool. That's all we can hope for. Awesome.
I'm looking at Jake Keneally on the bottom of my frame.
Yeah, I was looking at him too.
Who's got quite a frame. Yeah. Because I think what he's got is he's off center.
He's very
right? And it's almost like a Wes Anderson type of frame. It's like a stylized frame because his shirt really pops, but then
in view. Oh, his girlfriend's there. But she
oh, really? Oh, wow.
Jake looks like
that feels
Jake. You look a lot like Justin Long and Adam Driver mixed together.
Yes, excellent. That was quite on key. What do you get?
Which is obviously a compliment. Those are both good-looking guys.
Obviously. Very. We froze.
Okay.
Oh, low battery.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That's what's happening.
Don't worry, we just had low battery.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what was going
on. More breaking up. Thank you. Noreen's getting a lot of breaking up. Noreen, is it working for you now? Does anyone else have any questions? Oh, good.
Oh, yeah. Any questions?
Between
questions? Couplets, we try to set questions. Anything you're curious about? Oh, you know what's the other thing to plug? Either you turn everyone else's video off. It should help with the streaming.
If you turn everyone else's video
off. I don't think so. But I think it's just us. I think our internet's not great. And that's a source of a lot of...
Is it because you're on your yacht off the coast of Connecticut?
Yes. Yes, that's what it is. That's exactly what it is.
Try taking your phones off Wi-Fi.
I was gonna do that. The person said that, and then I thought,
are a lot of
okay,
good tips.
maybe I could do that. Yeah, it's not on there, but any questions? I wanted to plug.
I've got questions.
Oh, go ahead. Jump in.
You talk about, and you just mentioned earlier that you both had kind of been writing in secret this stuff.
Yeah.
Is it normal that you show your each other's stuff, or is it normal that you don't show each other's stuff?
I like to be pretty secretive. Like I've gone like 2 years like writing without showing Mike things sometimes.
Are you showing other, or are you only, is it only for you?
Sometimes I'll show a couple people here and there. It's my process is much more secretive. Mike's process is obviously usually to put stuff on stage.
Right. Jen, what are you hiding? What are you hiding, Jen? I mean, that's, I think, the question everybody has.
Yeah. Well, it's all in the book now. But yeah, I don't know. I like to write in secret. But then Mike was working on the show and we were talking about it, so I would show him things from time to time. But also, like, I think this particular piece was very, like, there were some things that maybe we felt we wanted to keep from each other for a while. I don't know.
Also,
Secrets.
we talk about this in the book, but when we got married, it was like this odd thing where I actually had to say, I ought to tell autobiographical stories on stage, and so I'm going to tell stories about us. And I think that it's important that we're on the same page, that that's okay with you. It's really hard because
it's an introvert's nightmare.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like we were recently talking to Ira Glass, who was a huge mentor with this book, writing this book, and a lot of the stories in it he helped talk us through. And I said to him, I go, like, I don't think I'm gonna talk about having a child anymore. Like, I think I'm done with it. I think this is what I have to say, and that's it. And he said this interesting thing. He goes, I just don't think that because Jen and Oona are the people who are the most important to you, I just don't think it's your choice.
Yeah.
Oh my God, someone's saying it's Fuego Box.
Fuego Box?
No, it's actually not. You know what's funny is
Oona put it there, right?
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
It's so funny. They sent me that because I have a podcast, and so a bunch of these typical podcast sponsors will like send stuff and be like, "Well, do you want to have us as a sponsor for my Working It Out podcast?" And so they send random stuff, and like that was one of the things. And it's really, and I will say it is really good, but that was not intended to be there at all.
And they're not a sponsor.
They're not a sponsor. And they're not a sponsor.
Does Oona still not like it when you talk? Yeah.
Yeah, Oona doesn't like it when we talk at all.
Her, but yeah, or hug.
Yeah.
Like if we hugged right now, she would like bust through and break us up, and like
she comes in strong. She does a hug wedge. She has a hug wedge.
How old is Oona now?
She's 5.
So this would be her first year of kindergarten.
It would be, yeah. She's doing it remote.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard this, Michael.
There's something going on.
There's this massive thing that is keeping people from school, work, comedy shows, almost everything.
Mm-hmm. What is it?
Bookstore reading events.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is it just shyness?
Eric Pritz says, not if you live in Georgia. Yeah, it's shyness. Yeah, it's a big introverted pandemic. It's an introvert pandemic that's contagious.
Can I ask a follow-up question of my
please.
question?
Yeah.
When you did share with each other stuff that maybe was a little bit painful, how did it go over? And you say it created, in the book, you say it created some tension between you.
Yeah.
How did you discuss it? And like, was it stuff that you didn't know, or stuff that you already kind of knew because you're married, but it hadn't been verbalized yet?
I think most of it we probably knew, but there was like, Mike was working his show out on stage, and I was like giving him space, and I was like, I don't want to even know what it is for like a month or 2 or 3. And then once in a while I would like listen to the audio and like give some notes and add
I would record my show and bring it home, play it, and give it to her to play.
I'd give maybe some notes like, oh, what about this idea and this story that happened or whatever. And then there was one night where I was listening to it and Mike went to bed, and I finished listening to it in the middle of the night, and I woke him up and I was like, if this is what you think happened. I'm sorry, my daughter's roaring in the background like a dinosaur. He goes, if this is what you think happened, I don't understand why we're married. Like, I was just like, I don't, like, why are we married if this is what you think is going on between us?
So Michael, if you had that feeling towards Martha, when would you mention that to her? Like, what time of day?
I wouldn't be the one to mention it. She would be the one to mention it to me.
What time of day would be like a good time to bring it up?
Would you
for her, all time of day, continuously.
Okay.
It wouldn't be like there would be one mention of it.
Time is continuous, so yeah.
Time is all time. Well, my wife, when we argue, her immediate go-to card is, well, we should just get divorced.
Wow.
Oh, I've never said that, but that was the closest I got to being like, if this is like literally what's going on in your head, like, I don't understand how we could like exist.
And how did you respond?
Similar to what you were saying, Michael.
How did Mike respond? He was really sleepy. He was
I was on pills.
I mean, he's on medication.
On drugs.
He's a sleepwalker.
I take Klonopin.
He was like in his little.
So you can imagine me like, I'm in my sleeping bag. I'm knocked out. I'm like, okay.
It was like a Tarantino scene.
Whatever you said, just let me go to sleep. And she takes out scissors, cuts my ear. Like, now you awake?
Do you even remember the conversation?
I do. I mean, I was shocked.
I don't usually get like that. I was fired up.
Fired up is a real euphemism. Howard Dean was fired up.
I've never said
Jen was pissed.
Jen, was there anything that you insisted come out of the show?
Yeah, sure. There's lots of things I've not insisted, but we have an ongoing dialogue where the way that instead of saying, I insist this comes out of your show, the way I would phrase it is, some things are just between us.
Oh, also?
Some things are just ours, which I think is important for real life human beings.
I think that's true.
Yeah.
Another one is, that's not what happened.
Well, it's more like it's crazy that that's what you think happened.
Yes. It's crazy that you think. That's actually where the Who Did chapter came from. And actually, if you haven't read the book before, you should read it. And one chapter that I recommend is My Side of the Story, because it's all about, similar to Who Did, about how, like, I think that and the reason why the book is poetry and comedy, versions of the same story, is that I think that the inevitable conflict of all relationships is you'll never remember things the same way. It's simply an impossibility.
And the poem that I have in that chapter was the first poem I ever showed Mike from these series of poems. Like, I emailed it to him one day when he was like asking me about some stories related to the time when Oona was first born. And I was like, well, actually, I wrote a poem about how I was feeling, if you want to read it. And it's just like a ramble. It's in the book. It's just like a half page, like ramble of like how I was feeling.
That's in the My Side of the Story chapter.
And then,
If people want to check that out, it's really good.
When you read it, you were like,
why are we married?
Yeah,
do you want to wait? We should read that.
I want to read that.
Yeah, Jen should read that just to give people full context, because it's a beautiful poem. We've actually never had it on our set list, our poetry set list.
I remember when I sent it to you, you were like, it hurt your feelings a little bit. You were like,
oh yeah.
You were like, it hurts my feelings. You're like, it's pretty well written, but it hurts my feelings.
I didn't say it's pretty well written, actually. I said it was really well written, because when Jen is my favorite poet, and whenever I'm speaking about her poetry, it goes through this self-deprecation filter, and so what comes in as I love this comes out as I sort of like this.
You guys, this is the thing that Mike is trying to get me to do, which is accept compliments.
There it is.
Okay. This is really, okay. I'll try to read this. I've never really read this out loud before. It's called My Side of the Story. Dear Oona, if in a conversation with your significant other about the future, believe them if they say they don't want to take care of a baby. If in a conversation about the future you respond by saying that you have no intention of changing your life, wait to meet your child before you laugh at other parents while promising to be nothing like them, saying, "It's not good for the kid or the parent to act that way." Before your child is born, you might say things like, "It's the baby who will have to learn to integrate into my life, not the other way around." Next thing you know, you're walking down the street, your baby in a stroller crying, her father trying to talk to you about his day, and you stop him and to say, "She doesn't like it when we talk." And you walk 10 blocks in silence. Wait, you could find yourself alone in a hospital bed in the middle of the night, the father away on business because you insisted nothing change once the baby is born, and you at the hospital in the middle of the night, unslept on painkillers, but holy shit, the pain, unable to stand, your baby 1 day old, left in a bassinet across the room by nurses saying she is inconsolable in the nursery. You cannot stand. She cries out. You stand, you sway, you sing, you feed, no matter your fresh stitches. She stops crying when you hold her. Holy shit, the pain. You do not let her go until morning. You wait, it happens in a moment. That's a long one. All right, you have to read more now.
That was really pretty.
Thanks. You're doing great, Jen. Thanks, Adrian.
One of the things, Michael, about collaborating, I'd never really truly collaborated on a piece of writing like this before, is that if you work with someone who you believe is a better writer than you, it's challenging to look at the page and just say, oh God, what I have to write has to be as good as that. It's hard.
But I feel the same way.
That's nice of you.
Yeah. Nice of me. It's real. I feel the same way. I don't, I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to put my poems in this great book, kind of thing. It reminds me of the marrying up thing once.
Oh yeah. This is sort of a new thing that we haven't talked about, but I'm probably going to have in my new hour somewhere.
We went out with a couple, we're not going to say who, and we got into this conversation where we were like, they were like, do you guys think that you married up or married down? This concept of like you married above yourself or below yourself, your perception of yourself. And we both were like, I feel like I'm married up. And Mike was like,
we both sincerely feel like we married up.
Yeah. And then they were both like, oh, we both feel like we married down.
And there was no hint of humor or sarcasm or anything.
They're still together. They've been together like a long
Wait,
time.
hold on. In the comments, married up, married down. Comments.
And Michael, you're
comments.
Michael, you're gonna have to respond.
I reject the whole idea. I think the whole idea is flawed.
It is
married
flawed.
up, married down in the comments.
It's very flawed.
Married up, married down.
But it's a mental thing. Some people
we both married up, to be honest, says Eric. Josh, what does Daniel know? Married up. Oh, that's sweet. Me up, her down. That is very political, Tom Dale. We both did too, says Sally Sloan. I am convinced that that marriage is predicated on the delusion at all times that both people married up.
My marriage is a lateral move.
Michael, that's the wrong answer.
Oh, it is?
Lateral's not negative.
Lateral move.
Somebody had asked earlier that if the introvert extrovert thing had changed in quarantine, or how it had changed in quarantine. Is he a freak?
Nancy Chick says, is he a freak? I don't know what that means exactly.
Is who a freak? Andrew? Beth?
Who are the people being referenced?
Her husband.
Her husband.
Huh.
I don't know. I don't know what that's getting at.
Should we pick another passage?
Yeah. So you'll choose. We're going to show you two more cards.
There.
And you'll choose from Hiccup Town and Little Milk Breath of Morning, Sugar Fries and Ween.
Oona doesn't like it when I talk. Maybe come out with a poop.
Sympathetic Eating and Maternity Pants. And the one last one is Friendly Advice and Third Arm.
So do them again.
So you got Sympathetic Eating and Maternity Pants, Sugar Fries and Ween, Hiccup Town and Milk Breath of Morning, Let's see, Hiccup Town. Wow, this really split vote here. Sugar Fries, Hiccup Town, Milk Breath. I think Milk Breath is great. What is it paired with?
Hiccup Town?
Hiccup Town. Yeah, let's do that. Because Milk Breath of Morning is your poem, and I love that poem.
Okay. Well.
Do you mind passing me that?
Did you throw this or something?
No, when I went to charge the computer, Recount, says Adrian Gooding. Jeez. Oh, I want to plug some DC things, and in the comments you can too. ACLU DC, which obviously we're supporting, and will contribute more. If you want to buy, this is a little trick that Jen and I do with gifts. If you buy 10 of these, and if you know people get pregnant, just, it's a good pregnancy gift, And we do it with kids' books. Like when people, like Jimmy Kimmel has this really good kids' book called Serious Goose, and Michael Ian Black also has great kids' books as well. But when we have like a stack of Serious Goose, and when people have kids, we just send them one, and then they think we're thoughtful, but we're not. We're calculating. We're calculating.
121.
121.
You're doing Hiccup Town?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think I've done Hiccup Town in this whole book series.
I think you did it once.
Oh my gosh.
You know
I forgot about it. It's sort of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this one. I like this one. I'm addicted to working. This is called Hiccup Town. I'm addicted to working. I work and work and work and then go to sleep, dream about work, have a sleepwalking incident about work, roll out of bed and head to work. As a parent, I can't do enough. I don't do enough in the first month. I don't change enough diapers. I'm not around enough. I don't say the right things at the right time. Hindsight is 20/20, but my vision is 20 over a billion. As a parent, I am legally blind. I'm quickly devoted to being the intern of the family. I run around, I do errands. I say, does anyone need coffee? I'll clean up your crap. Someday I hope to be a member of the family. I pick up diapers at the natural diapers place. I buy cat food at the natural cat food place. For the first time in my life, I shop for my wife's underwear. And for some reason, I chose thongs. Jen didn't previously own thongs. I have never purchased women's underwear, but I asked the clerk what she recommended, and it was thongs. Thongs it is! When I bring home 3 pairs of rainbow-colored thongs, Jen says thank you, but I think she means thank you? I've made so many jokes about birthing class, but when we bring home Oona, I eat my words. I really get it. The 4th trimester. It does make sense. Jen and Oona are in sync like ballerinas in the New York City Ballet, and I am the drunk clown who stumbles on stage in the middle of the ballet and trips on his own pee. Over coffee one day, I confide in my friend Nick my deepest fears about not feeling connected, and Nick says, during the first few months, it's hard to connect with the baby. Then I talk to Nick a few months later, and he says, the first 6 months, it's hard to connect with the baby. And a few weeks after that, Nick tells me, the first year, it's hard to connect with the baby. Then I start to realize Nick is full of shit, and I'm screwed. I might never connect with my own baby the way I see other parents connect. I might never connect with my wife in the same way again, and there's nothing I can do about it. I'm mostly just scared. This monkey in a jumpsuit stares at me with this look like, I don't know anything. Do you know anything? And I'm thinking, I don't know anything either. Jen becomes so good at being a parent so quickly that it's unnerving. She changes diapers while on the phone and cooking an omelet, which isn't sanitary, but it is impressive. When I change a diaper, it takes 15 minutes and looks like a papier-mâché sculpture of a broken chair. Jen moves like a ninja. Swipe, swipe, stick, done. I try to rock Oona to sleep. She screams. Jen holds Oona and soothes her as though her voice is a lullaby.
Lullaby. Little milk breath of morning, you sip me as daybread. You give me no milk break, milk junk of wee hour, you little mustache. Little milk mouth of cloud break, you suck in the dusk hour. You suction the turtle tide. Little milkshake of lunch hour, you little mustache. You yawn, dawn, yawn into milk. Something. You don't want to read any more?
No, I think that's a good amount of that chapter.
Where did the little mustache come from?
Milk mustache, I guess. But yeah, you're right. We never read that one before.
Yeah, it was nice. We've done this is our 11th virtual bookstore event, and we have all these different cards,
yeah.
and it's always different.
Yeah.
We've never read that one, and it's very like, that was a hard chapter for me to write because it basically like admits all these things that like I did wrong. And it's hard to put that on the page and be like, and now here's the thing, here's all the list of shit I did wrong. It's and then what's a strange thing about like about the type of autobiographical work that's self-deprecating is that there's so much reach of writing of all kinds. It's sort of everywhere on the internet, and as a result, and then you get feedback that comes back at you, and that's a lot of feedback. And so the feedback that's sort of hilarious when people read this book, mostly the feedback has been really wonderful, and it connects with a lot of people because we're saying taboo things. We're saying things that are confessions, things that we're embarrassed about, that we don't wish were true but are true in our case. And the toughest thing is when people go, "You were shitty at being a dad." I'm like, right, no, I just told you. But so I would say, like, hands down, that's been the hardest thing about writing this book.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I just kind of live in my own world, so.
Yeah.
Not read, Jen, do you not read feedback?
I try not to. Once in a while I will, but most of the time I try not to. Yeah. I mean, Mike convinced me to go on Instagram. Someone was asking about like the introvert versus extrovert in the quarantine, how that changed. And I became actually much more extroverted in the quarantine in that I have an Instagram account, although it's been pretty dormant for about a month or two. But for most of the quarantine, I was like posting like poetry videos on it and stuff, which is so far outside of my comfort zone. Wait, what were we talking about?
About feedback.
Oh yeah, feedback. And so people would give me a lot of feedback, but it was like, and I would read it, and I would interact with people. Like that was like the most I've ever done that. But I try not to read things on like Amazon too much or anything like that, or Goodreads or. Ugh.
Michael, do you read stuff about your books?
Usually when it first comes out, I do, because I'm so paranoid and scared.
Well,
But you know, I think I'm like a lot of artists. Maybe you can relate to this, Mike, maybe you can't. But I have no idea what the quality of anything I do is. So if I release something, a book, let's say, and then the response is, "That's the greatest book I've ever read," I'll be like, "Yeah, it totally is." And then if they're like, "That's the biggest piece of garbage I've ever read," I'm like, "I know, it totally."
I'm the opposite of that.
That is very funny.
I don't take in any compliments, and I try not to take in any negative. Like, so, there was one person who I saw that wrote about the audiobook. They were like, his wife and her sad little wife.
Oh my God.
Was so funny.
Oh my God, her sad little voice.
That was the only person who said something like that. But I thought it was really funny. But I try, like, I feel like if you don't take in compliments, then you don't have to take in negative feedback. And I think that's good. Although, you know, I'm a poet, and poets don't have careers like where they make money and like have like, you know, livelihood.
I'm a poet, and poets don't have careers.
Like they don't make money or anything. Like if it's not like that kind of thing.
It's not like one of those money.
It's one of those money.
One of those money things.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Somebody said they liked my voice.
Aww.
My sad little voice.
And by the way, her Instagram is phenomenal. It's at J Hope Stein. And it's not just like a photo and a poem or whatever. She literally makes these like, these sort of like, almost like animations of, and with her voice mixed in, and they're really good.
Animation's like, a strong word.
With her sad voice or her?
It's very sad and sappy. It's like poem.
I love your voice. It's I say in the book you have a soft, sweet voice that has a thread count of 600.
Thanks. I like your voice. Does anyone have any questions?
Oh yeah, any questions over there?
Else?
Should be a wonderful voice. Should be on a sleep tape, says Nancy Chick.
Thank you.
Oh, that's sweet. Sally Sloan says, I love your voice and listen to the audiobook is a great combination. And the Instagram is great too.
Cool. Thanks.
Oh, by the way,
Anything else?
Michael, we should point out that books we want to recommend right now. Michael's book, which comes out, I believe, in 2 weeks.
September 15th. But again, it's not important. That's not important. What's important
Wait, if it's not important, why are you holding it?
is I didn't even see that. I did not even see that. That's
Right, the frame
crass.
right now. You
No,
didn't. Well, whose hand is that?
I guess it's mine, but I just find that very crass, whoever's doing that.
No, it's you. There's no one else in the room.
It's fine.
I don't even know anymore. It's just crass.
Who's holding that water?
That was me.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay. Well, now I trust you again. Another book we recommend is the Zadie Smith book, which just came out.
Intimations.
It's called Intimations. You should pick that up at Politics and Prose as well.
That's a good one.
And
What else?
and then Sedaris has another book coming out in the fall, which I'm really excited about. It comes out, I think, in November, if I'm not mistaken. And by the way, I recommend Sedaris a lot in the quarantine for people. And the reason why I do, like, we have a friend in California who's a doctor, and she was asking for like anything that is funny, it makes you laugh and sort of takes you, she's going through it, because she's a doctor and sort of every single day is just a storm. It's really hard, obviously.
Yeah.
And I just said, like, I recommended to her, literally, like, David Sedaris, like, Me Talk Pretty one day. I laugh 3 times per page. I'm laughing out loud on that book. And I feel that way about a lot of David Sedaris's work.
Yeah.
So I would recommend that. Because it is, I don't know about how you're handling it, Michael, but I feel like the storm has been quite long.
The storm is coming. I think you put it very well. The storm is coming.
Oh, you think it's coming? You think it hasn't come
It
yet?
hasn't come yet. It was more.
Well, I'm just saying that your Q, Jen's Q, I'm Q, all of you are Q. The storm is coming.
So Katie Emmel is saying, Mike, have you bonded with Oona yet? And yes, I don't know, no spoilers. But oh yes, Sedaris Theft by Finding is a great one if you have a short attention span. That's a really good one. That's the one of his diaries. That's his diaries book. I've bonded with Oona so profoundly. It is like people always ask, like, what will Oona say when she's old enough to read the book or whatever, and we always laugh at it because she just won't. I mean, we're so loving. I don't think she could possibly grasp what I express in the book.
During most of these readings, she'll like bust in usually at some point and listen to part of it. So she knows a lot of the book already.
Yeah, so I have a line that's in one of the chapters, and I go, I'm 40 years old, which is exactly halfway through my life. Not technically, not everyone dies at 80, but no one's ever like 80 through 100. Those are the years. They're more like, I was 83, I reached for a grape, and I never walked again. And that's like one of the passages I didn't read tonight. But so Oona one night overheard me say that in the reading, like in one of these bookstore readings. And like we're with her one day, and Oona goes, Dad, I like your joke where you say, I reached for a grape and I never walked again.
She's like, that's hilarious. But also we tell her, we're like, Dad didn't want to have a baby. And she's like, that's so funny because he like loves me so much.
I know.
And so she sort of sees it as like, he didn't want to have a kid. And then he met her and he was like dazzled by her.
Well, these kids, they con you. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You get me?
That
You
has
get
been
me,
my
right,
experience.
Michael? They
That
con
has
you.
been my experience.
They con you.
It's a swindle.
All your cash, all your love, all your time. The whole thing's a con.
Any way you look at it. It's
Yeah.
a swindle.
Then they make you fuller inside and more complete, and the whole fucking thing's a con.
The truth is, he just makes her laugh. Like they make each other
No
laugh.
else, yeah.
They make each other laugh. That's all it is. Nancy Chick is saying, Jen, what do you think would help Hub husband, I think, not be jealous? Mike, same question. I don't know if we've totally figured that out yet, but I think we sort of did. What makes you not be jealous?
Not be jealous of Oona. I think my feelings are more resolved now in terms of jealousy. I don't think that what I'm experiencing is jealousy as much.
I mean, I feel like part of it is like showing. I'm like trying to make sure that I show extra care to Mike, and I feel like if a few days or a few weeks go by and I don't do that, I can feel that tension. But then if I take the time to cut his hair,
when she cuts my hair, Michael, that's one of the good days.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's when it's going well.
Cutting the hair is like a high recommendation. Yeah.
It's like
Jen, does it ever swing the other way now that Mike and Oona are so close that you get jealous?
It doesn't, but I could see that happening someday. Like, I'm assuming, like, right now she really, like, is very into me. I'm assuming one day she's gonna hate me and just think I'm, like, a nightmare of a mother, and she's gonna be like, Dad's so cool, and I'm gonna be like, fuck you guys, I'm going to the movies.
Michael, you know about that because your kids hate you, right?
At the moment, yes. Yes. My daughter vacillates emotionally a lot. She's 17. She's a nightmare.
Oh, I've heard a lot of songs about her age in the 50s that were great.
Yeah.
It's a very romantic age for men in there's a lot of beautiful romantic songs about it.
Well, I can tell you that I'm in my 40s and she is 17, and there's really nothing romantic about it in any sense of the word. In any sense of the word.
Thanks for clearing that up.
No, thanks for clearing that. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Yeah.
I've just been hearing these pop songs. I listened to the XM Sirius, the 50s channel. And I'm like, oh, wow, it's that 17 age. That's a big romantic year.
Well, the Beatles had that one too. She was just 17.
Yeah.
That's right. I was only familiar with Tiffany's version of that song.
Okay.
Did she cover it?
Pop star Tiffany, yes.
I know her. She
When I was a kid, I remember. Put in the comments if you remember Tiffany, the pop star. Anybody? I don't know. That might be really niche.
Everybody remembers Tiffany, but that wasn't the song that she did. Wait, I'm gonna Google it.
She did a bunch of Beatles covers.
She did. I think
a bunch.
I think We're Alone Now. But I think We're Alone Now. The reason why I think of Tiffany all the time is because obviously the Beatles, one of the great bands of all time. Because I was in like 7th grade when all those songs of Tiffany's came out, I thought they were Tiffany songs.
Well,
and I was like, oh, these are good. She's really, I mean, this girl can write a song, you know? And, but I feel like that career hasn't had legs, ultimately.
Well, but the Beatles are still popular, so the songs that she wrote for them still endure.
Yeah, that's right.
This is Tiffany's cover.
It's not coming through.
Oh, there we go.
That's the intro to it, but it is the Beatles song.
Yeah.
Oof.
Could have been so beautiful, says Joshua Daniel. So do you want to close with one more?
Do you guys want to hear Mike's pizza chapter? It's pretty great.
So Jen isn't giving the good people of Washington D.C. the option. Oh, I wanted to plug a D.C. thing.
I'll let you choose.
Okay. 2 things. One is I was raising money for the DC Improv waitstaff on tipyourwaitstaff.com. You can link to the GoFundMe for the waitstaff at the Washington DC Improv, where I used to be a door person. Also, Eric Pritt says DC Improv is life. I know, we're really rooting for the DC Improv. The other one is I was a waiter at the Tombs restaurant in Georgetown, and if you're able to support them, by all means.
You love that place.
I love the Tombs.
Every time you go to DC,
can people say whether they like the Tombs? Can people say whether they like the Tombs in the comments? Because like I'm obsessed. Like I think about it all the time.
He loves that salad with the chicken and
Okay.
the barbecue sauce.
So I will tell. Someone's saying tell a story, Mike. I actually do have a Tombs story that I've never told anywhere, which is when I was a waiter at the Tombs.
Is this your Agassiz?
No, I waited on Andre Agassi once.
Yeah.
That's true. But I don't have a full story about it. But it was me and like a lot of college students and who were waiters. And I noticed this trend that I was, as a waiter, you live and die based on the shifts that you're given. If you know anything about waiting tables, it's like, you know, weekend nights, you kill, you make a fortune. Weekday mornings, whatever, you don't do well. Weekday lunches, you don't do well. It's just like night and day, right? And I was a good waiter. I was a really good waiter, and I was getting bad shifts. And the people who were getting great shifts were gorgeous women who, some of them were good waiters, some of them weren't. And it was male managers who were giving them the shifts. And so I pulled aside my manager at the time. This guy, his name was Danny. And I said to him, which was a bold move because he was my boss. And I go, you're giving better shifts to this person. I named the people, this person, this person, this person, this person. And I think it's just because you want to date them. So I think you should give me better shifts. And guess what? It fucking worked. It changed around my shifts.
You started the Me Too movement.
And did you end up dating him?
I sort of started it. I sort of started it.
Michael said, did you end up dating?
No. No, I had a steady girlfriend all through college. But tip your wait staff at the DC Improv. Thank you, Beth, for posting that link to the GoFundMe. That's really cool. That staff is super cool. And yeah. So I'll read a little bit of the pizza.
Or do you want them to choose?
Okay, we'll give them a choice.
Here.
Anamata pizza and now clock. Or
there will be a Jesus in your womb and we learn to dance. So it's
Anamata pizza now clock.
You can just call it pizza. Or there will be a Jesus in your womb.
Jesus womb.
We learn to dance.
I just like saying Jesus womb pizza, which is a great pizza, by the way. It's a great. I mean, some people don't even like pineapple on their pizza, but a Jesus womb pizza.
We should have called the book Jesus.
Loaves and fishes in every bite. That's not terrible. That's not the worst joke.
You said that before you finished the joke.
Yeah, because I bailed on it before the words were out of my mouth.
Pizza Jesus. Pizza Jesus is what they serve in Oklahoma. They give you a pizza, and then you have the apparition of Jesus in the pizza. It's kind of nice. All right, let's do pizza. Let's do pizza. Jen really wants me to do pizza, so I'll do it.
That's my favorite writing, but I want you to do like the part that like is like Jen pizza.
Jen and pizza? Okay.
You know what I mean?
I'll do that part.
That part too.
Okay.
I don't know, like.
Jen always wants me to read a lot of this pizza chapter, and yeah, I'm into it. I'm into it.
Well, I read so much poetry, so I don't know what chapter it is.
Jen is really stingy with her poetry. She just, at a certain point,
Well,
she
you
just
guys
won't
got
give you
that
any more.
bonus poem that was out of nowhere that we did. That was like enough poetry for these people, right?
See, Michael, this is what I have to contend with.
I'm so sorry.
It is.
I mean, it's a nightmare what you're doing.
It is an Olympic level of self-deprecation.
It's not self-deprecation.
It is.
All right, it's page 218.
Oh, you found it.
217.
Okay, so we'll close with this, and then we're gonna.
I think you should read the whole chapter.
I can't read the whole chapter; it's too long.
Okay.
One day I take Oona to Sal's Pizzeria on our corner. I order 2 slices, and we sit at a table and eat. She's thrilled. I say, Oona, do you like the pizza? She says, PP, which I'm pretty sure means pizza, and also yes. When we finish our slices, she says, PP. She wants more pizza, and also yes. I'm not quite sure what to do. Her mom said 1 slice, but she didn't say anything about 2 slices. I think, how much pizza can a 1-year-old eat? The battle cry grows stronger. PP! I can see this look in her eye that I recognize. She wants more pizza, and she wants it now.
Should I do the now clock? The now clock. The now clock is the clock of a toddler, in which every number is replaced by the word now and the hands of the now are always pointed directly at the now or between two nows.
I have a pizza problem, which is to say when I see a pizza, my whole body perks up and thinks, oh, I'd like to have that inside of me. I don't know if it's the circularity or the softness or the warmth, but it's almost sexual. I wouldn't have sex with pizza, but if I ate a pizza in private, I wouldn't mention it to my wife. I'm even excited by the word pizza because it looks like a pizza, which is, of course, a literary device called onomatopoeia. 2 Z's and an A, 5 slices in one word. I like pizza so much, I get excited when I see the word plaza. Jen has never called me out on looking at other women as we walk down the street, but she has called me out on looking at other pizza while I'm eating pizza. It's a problem because not only is it chock full of sugar and salt and cheese and fat and bread, but I can only view a pizza as a single serving, when in fact, more often than not, it's designed for 3 or 4 people. That division somehow doesn't compute. My brain thinks 1 pizza for 1 person. PP! There's no logical way to partition a pizza even. A typical configuration is 3 people sharing an 8-slice pie, which doesn't divide evenly. A subject of the documentary I'm working on called 3 People, 8 Slices. The 3-person 8-slice paradox is something scholars have puzzled over for decades. You have 3 people, and the first move is that everyone eats 2 slices and then awaits further instructions. Hopefully there's a hero in the group who steps forward and says, I'm not having any more. The proper etiquette is to genuflect in the direction of this deity. But if no one gives up their 3rd slice, the only way to proceed is to cut the remaining 2 slices into thirds, giving each person 2/3 of 1 slice. You may need a 4th person to do the cutting if you want a fair cut. The pizza slicer is the card dealer. Watch the hands. Also, and then I'm going to go to beyond the perfection of the food item itself. Pizza is a Band-Aid for so many problems. I forgot to make dinner, order a pizza. I'm lonely, order a pizza. I have no utensils, order a pizza. Pizza is a food I've called on in a jam my whole life. When I've been told by an audience that nothing I've presented is funny or entertaining, pizza has told me, I liked it, Michael Ian Black, and I like you. Okay, and then I'll go to this. Pizza is not just a perfect blend of ingredients, but of nostalgia, which can be the richest flavor of all. Pizza in movies, pizza in Friends, pizza in Jen, pizza at birthdays, pizza after my wedding, and now pizza and Oona. The combinations of pizza and people and things I love are countless. The memories are vivid and endless. When I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, which is a few chapters before, the thought of cutting pizza is actually the part that crushes me. And then one day I have a realization. I can't stop eating pizza, but I can eat 1 slice. This isn't based on a doctor recommendation, but a logic that occurs to me that the amount of bread and sauce and cheese in a single slice isn't the problem. It's the gluttony of eating 8 slices that's turning my body into the size of 8 people. So I do it. I change my personal pizza policy. 1 slice every week, sometimes every two weeks. I start to apply this principle to other parts of my life. I don't need to tour 112 cities. I can tour 20, just a slice. I don't need to work 7 days a week. Some weeks I can work 3, just a slice. This is a part of a larger strategy to become a whole member of my family. 1 slice, that'll do. As for Oona, she gets the 2nd slice. Onomatopoeia.
Yeah. I was just thinking about how you ate a slice of pizza today.
Oh, I did. You're right.
And you ate pizza yesterday.
That's true too.
I don't know how many slices, but
I had 4 today.
You
Love.
did? Michael Ian Black ate 4.
Oh, 4. That's nice. That's a nice number.
Yeah.
That's a good number. That'll fill you up.
It's a half pie.
Half pie. Fridays is pizza night at our house.
Oh man. Love the little poem, says Noreen. It's called The Now Clock, and actually it's I was on Ezra Klein's podcast the other day, which I love. I highly recommend also in the recommendations list. And he said that ever since he read the book, he thinks about the now clock all the time because he also has a toddler.
He has a new, yeah, he's a young baby.
Which is really sweet. So I think we're going to wrap up, and then we're going to also shine a light on the ACLU DC also, and wrap up from there. From our end, we appreciate Politics and Prose. We appreciate Michael Ian Black.
Thank you,
We
guys.
appreciate
Thank
you
Michael.
for tuning in. And Beth has the link to the ACLU DC right there. Thank you so much, Beth. And thanks so much for supporting the book. It's a real labor of love, and it just means the world to us that you got it. Hey.
Thanks, Sean.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Again, feel free to visit Politics Pro's website to purchase the new one, and also look forward to September 19th. It is from Michael Ian Black.
Yay!
Better Man.
Better man.
Thanks for having me, guys. This was really fun.
Thanks a lot,
Thanks for
Michael.
doing this.
All right. See you
Thanks,
soon,
guys.
everybody.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Be safe, everybody.